What up, what up, what up?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are like 5 minutes late. It's fine.
It's more like 7, but
It's okay.
you
We're
like have the
here.
dashes there so you can see like the difference, like for IG, YouTube, and
That's
stuff.
cute. I like
I
that.
thought
I
that was
like that. I like
cute. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute.
that.
Let me readjust my headphones real quick.
I am weak. In the meantime of her doing that, what up, my black peoples?
Okay, now I told this bitch that I was readjusting myself, and she started the intro
I
without me.
just said, what up, black peoples? I said it as you were putting your headphones in so that you would hear me
Oh,
say that so that you can finish.
well, hello, my beautiful melanated gods and goddesses. Yes, I'm so sorry. So sorry. So sorry.
It's your girl, Ciara.
And it's your girl Taylor.
What up? Welcome back to motherfucking VitaMelanin. Yeah.
Duh, duh, duh. Yeah. Yeah. It's lit. It's lit. All right, so yesterday was spooky season, so we dropped a spooky season episode.
Andy.
The recording, not the live. I
Yeah.
think I had to clarify.
It wasn't the live. If you want to go back and watch it back, it is on Spotify. It is on Apple Podcasts, on all your listening stuff, and it's also on YouTubers. We're still working on Twitch, guys. We have not abandoned you guys. We just have to clip up stuff so that we can put that on Twitch. So just bear with us. Um,
Please, niggas
yeah.
got full-time jobs and aspirations, and so we be trying real hard. I'm gonna mind my business on that one. We be trying real hard, to get things together.
I really do. We do have some clips. I've clipped some bloopers and stuff like that, so we'll be posting that. So just FYI. But
Mhm.
anyways, back to the episode. If the title confuses you, we are talking about what our parents never taught us that we needed to know as adults.
Correct. It's literally everything that we pretty much figured out in,
Yeah,
adulthood, so
basically. Or like if we had questions about it, it wasn't brought up until we had questions about it.
right. Then it was like,
So
"You didn't think to volunteer this information,
that
buddy?"
information would be very helpful. But yes, so that is the top for this episode. Let's get into it.
Alright, so let's pop play peel, because I didn't say that last episode. I can't believe I didn't say that, but
Oh yeah, you
anywho,
didn't.
I know, it's weird. It's time to pop this pill and get us started. Okay, so do we wanna start with finances, or do we wanna start with boundaries?
I feel like probably boundaries. That's like the least one of it of what we kind of didn't
Yeah,
learn. I
so
know,
here's that.
right. For me, with boundaries, when I say boundaries, I personally am a people pleaser and I am working towards not being that whatsoever. And I think just as black people, we're not really taught boundaries. The only boundaries we're taught is don't discuss family stuff outside of the home, which isn't really helpful sometimes. But I feel like that's the only boundary that we're taught. We're not taught any other boundaries. Like we're not taught, funny enough, we're not taught any boundaries with money. We're not taught really boundaries of like, how do I explain it? Sometimes relationships, it doesn't really show much boundaries because we're children looking on the outside kind of thing. So, and if your family has friends and they have friends for a long time or don't have friends like at all or don't really frequent people, you don't really learn boundaries from that either.
I will say too, in
So
terms of, like, boundaries specifically, you also don't learn they don't teach you how to have healthy boundaries with them as your parent, um,
true.
because a lot of times you do kinda grow up pretty much being treated like an
Subordinate.
extension of them,
Hmm.
um, and a subordinate. I was gonna say property, so thanks for that word. Not not the same, in terms so you don't really get to learn how to, like, put up a boundary and be like, "I don't like this," or "Please don't do this," things of that nature, like, you don't really have privacy for real.
Yeah.
Because usually this is my house, so
Which is
privacy
also a
over
thing of not teaching boundaries of just even how you talk to people because
yeah,
I'm the adult or I'm your parent or
right.
I'm your guardian. I
But
can
it's
do
like
or say whatever I want.
right, and I was gonna say, if you don't learn how to establish boundaries when you're young, you're not gonna be able to do it with your friends. So it's interesting to me, like, when they get confused, right? That, like, you haven't set a boundary with other people and told them how to respect you, but they don't even respect you, essentially. So it's like, I don't know how to set a boundary because I was never shown how to set a boundary or taught how to set a boundary. I
Or I
know
set a boundary wrong.
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
not wrong. I don't want to say wrong. I
I
set
don't
a
think it's wrong
boundary
to
unhealthily.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it's wrong so much as it's just
Yeah.
the way that you do it. Um, hell, even learning what the fuck a boundary is, because boundaries are not
To be honest.
rules. Boundaries are just simply, like, what you will allow, but it doesn't dictate how that person act towards you. It's very
Right.
much that, like, "This is my boundary. This is what I'm not going to allow. If this is what you're going to do, I don't allow it, so I'm gonna detach." That's not, like, a threat to, like, "If you don't do this" type shit. It's
Right.
very
Like
much
that's not how
like,
that works.
I'm
And
not a
nowadays, obviously people don't know what boundaries mean.
a lot of people don't.
So, like, don't get boundaries from social media because they'll be like, "Oh, this person did this," and I'll be like, "If you're doing this, then I'm gonna do this." That's not what a boundary is. A boundary is like, "Hey, this is what I'm not gonna tolerate," like Taylor just said. And if you're going to do that, I don't want to tolerate it. So this is how I'm going to act.
I'm not gonna deal with it, and because I don't want to deal with it, mine is typically detachment or I, you have less access to me. So, like, I'm either going to fully detach or I'm just gonna lessen the access. So, for instance, one of my boundaries is, and I'm really big on this, do not call me without asking if I'm available for a phone call. Um, do not unload anything on me without asking me if I am in a good headspace. If that cannot be adhered to,
Yeah.
I'm not answering the phone. Not.
And it's not a bad
Um,
one. A lot of people don't realize, like, some people would probably call that selfish, but if you don't realize, if a lot of people are going through things and then you're burdening them, not burdening, but then you're unloading constantly on them as well, some people cannot handle all of that.
mhm.
Like, everybody's going through stuff, obviously. But this is what therapy is for. This is what psychiatrists and therapists are for. I
I agree.
know, and that's coming from a privileged place, obviously, because certain people can't afford therapy or certain people can't afford psychologists, which is very understandable. I think there's different ways that you can go about kind of therapizing yourself until you can get there. Even like having a journal. It sounds very simple. It sounds very kiddish or childish, I guess is the better word. But like it actually helps you unload your mind so that you can get stuff done, so that you can actually think stuff through clearly. Like it actually helps. Even if you write it down, everybody has a phone. Well, mostly everybody has a phone. You have notes. That could be your journal. Make a folder, call it journal, make it locked. There you go. Boom. You know, there's ways. There's ways.
There is,
But
there
that's a
is.
different episode for that's a different topic for a different episode for a different
I
day.
would say
So
that'll kind of, like, push us into a different topic on mental health for real,
right,
for real. Um,
exactly.
but, like you said, like, the biggest thing with boundaries too I'm finding is learning how not to be guilty about setting your
Let me
boundary.
tell you, I am
It
fighting myself
it is the
so bad.
guilt. You know what? What is one boundary that you have set in place for your friends specifically?
Um, have I? That's the real question.
I would say,
um,
do you have a boundary between the 2 of us?
no, I'm not really. No, I
Specifically.
don't think if I really think about it, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of, and it could be just like a silent boundary that like no one has ever said. It's just like a kind of known thing. I don't know though. I really,
Please hold.
y'all do this every time. Anyways, back
I
to
was
what we
gonna
were talking
say,
about.
as far as boundaries go, I feel like the only thing
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't like when people just like, especially now that I have my own space. I don't like when people kind of like just show up in my house.
that's a fair boundary. I don't think I've ever done that.
I don't know. I mean, no one's really done that. I think that's only happened like maybe 2 times before, maybe if that. But like, I don't like when people just show up. It's really weird. Like pop ups. I thought I was a pop up person, then I got my own place and was like, no,
I was a
I
pop-up
don't.
person in college.
I don't.
It
Well,
was
see,
fine in
college is
college,
different. I
but
think college is different, especially when you have dorms. Like you're supposed to pop up, in
I was
each
gonna
other's
say
dorm
it
rooms.
fosters that sense of, like, community and shit, so, like,
Yeah,
that made sense to me. I
I
could
think
do
it's
that,
that.
but, like, I'm definitely the type of person, like, so for instance, when we get our own place, um, everybody what's what I'm looking for? For the first few months, I really don't want anybody to show up.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to show up because I definitely want to be able to enjoy my space, fill my space with my energy and Dee's
hmm
energy. So fill our space. Um,
And just
without
get
having
acclimated.
to yeah, like I would like to actually enjoy my space without somebody being in it. What was
Like
it?
I definitely, like Taylor was saying. Like Taylor was saying, I was the same way when I got my house. I was like, I didn't really want any guests and stuff. I had stuff in here, but it just isn't like even now, I don't necessarily like it. Like I like showing people my stuff because my siblings specifically and like my family, my support system ultimately, they are getting me to realize as much as they say it to me, like you don't understand like how big of a thing it is to have your own home and things of that nature. So I'm starting to be like, oh yeah, like I gotta show you my house, blah blah blah. Like to people that I know that come into town, and I have to like still like really trust you to say that. But like, but I was definitely that way when I was like, I didn't want anybody in my home. I still don't feel like my house is up to par to how I want it, so I kind of don't be wanting people in here. But I've kind of just gotten over it because the stuff that I want to do is expensive. So it kind of is what it is, kind of thing. I'm still trying to think of a boundary that I have for just friends, but I guess just popping up is one of those things. Like I've never been a pop up kind of person. I don't really like pop ups at all. Uh, just because sometimes it be throwing me off or something like that. Or sometimes I just want to be like here. If you guys haven't realized, I'm extremely introverted. I am a huge homebody. As an adult, I'm trying to go out more so I don't be a boring ass grandma with no stories.
Please don't
But
piss me off like
I'm
that.
so serious. I literally just said this the other day. I was like, I'm gonna be a boring
No,
grandma.
you're not.
So
People
I was like,
have done so much shit well before me, like crazy.
I just said I need to go out. I need to have experiences because
Because
I
you're
don't
going
really
to
have.
way more concerts than I have.
I mean, the concerts that I've been to is because I've gone to music festivals.
But that's what I'm saying. I had always wanted to go to music festivals, but, like, shit never
Yeah.
really, like, played out. I've gone to, like, arts festivals, like the small
Oh
town music
yeah.
festivals, but, like, I've always wanted to do something like one music fest
I
or
be trying to get them to come to one music fest. They don't
okay,
never
but
come. Oh, we didn't tell them what we've been up
actually,
to.
I didn't get an invite this time because I didn't
Because I'm
know about it.
it's one of those things, and
I didn't know about it.
funny enough, this is one of those things where it's like, I invited you once.
No,
This
I
is
don't remember the last time. Was it did you say something last year about it?
yes.
Because I don't know, I don't keep up with music festivals. It really
But
that
yeah,
is one of them things where, like, somebody has to remind me that it's coming up,
one
or
music fest is the
I,
only one I keep up with.
I won't go because I won't know.
Yeah,
So, like,
it's
when
certain
everybody was
ones.
posting that it was one music fest, I was like, "Well, fuck, I didn't even know it was happening."
And what's funny is me, me and
'Cause you
one of
mentioned
our
it
other
last
close
week, and I was
friends,
like, "Shit, I didn't know."
me and one of our other close friends ended up going to one music fest, and we didn't even know we were going.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have to do better about marking shit in my calendar for
But
sure.
also, I
'Cause I
did pretty
really don't
bad.
pay attention to these festivals, except for Essence Fest. I have been scoping out
We have been trying to get to Essence Fest, guys, for like 5 years.
I have been scoping Essence Fest out, and I'm going to go to if I don't go to any music festival in my
We're
life,
making it.
I'm
We're
going
making
to
it.
the Essence Festival,
Whether we are a podcast invited or whatever,
period.
we're making it to Essence Fest. We have been trying to get there for so long. We even had a full trip planned like 2-3 years ago, and I think 2020 happened and just ruined everything.
Oh, my mama, 2020 ruined a lot of shit.
We
Not
had a whole thing. It was gonna be fun. But yeah, I know certain things like music festivals and stuff like that. Like I just when I moved here, my thing was, and what was on my side when I first moved here, I had been a homebody since I like the only thing I did when I was younger was acting. That's the only thing damn near I do now. Thankfully, I told myself I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get out my house more. I didn't go out in I went out in college a lot, but it was because of my roommates that got me out. Like I wouldn't just be like, hey, let's go to this. They'd be like, there's a party, let's go. Like you get dressed. So I'm trying to do that more. So I think a boundary for me, it's not even with family and friends, but for myself, a boundary for
mm.
myself is like don't stay in the house. And I know that doesn't sound like a boundary, but for me, it is. I have to get out. Like my boundary is you cannot stay in your house every day of the week.
Would that be considered a boundary or
I
more
don't
like
know.
a
That don't sound
rule
right.
you gave yourself?
It's a rule, but I feel like it's a boundary somewhere in that.
So what
somewhere
is
in
the
that.
boundary?
Somewhere
Like,
in
where's
that.
the boundary being crossed? Where is the boundary being placed? Like, you're refusing to be a homebody? Like, you're not
I'm
allowing
I'm not allowing
loneliness
myself to
to
like
seep in?
yeah, like I'm not
You're not
allowing
allowing
myself
isolation.
to
So for
isolation
you
because
yourself gotcha, okay.
Cause I be fine in my house. They know I will be in my house and be fine. So
Same.
I don't care. But I told myself I was gonna go out, and thankfully, when I moved here, I had a friend that came with me from college because me and him just got a job at the same place, surprisingly, and he is an extrovert and would get me out. He got me to go to Rolling Loud. He started the music festival things because he
That's
got me to
another
go to Rolling
one.
Loud.
Damn.
Rolling Loud is for that to be your first music festival. I do not recommend. It was a lot at once,
I think Imma stick
but
with Essence Festival as
it
my
was
first one.
fun. Honestly, Essence Fest is a lot. You might want to start with one music fest for real, because Essence Fest is a lot too.
I feel like well, see, I wouldn't mind Essence Festival because I know I would only really go and probably stay in, like, certain lounges. The
Nobody wants to act right. Say we're trying to be on a serious tip for this episode, and nobody wants to be serious on Taylor's side. Nobody. We're
No,
trying to be serious
nobody gives a
this
fuck
episode.
about Taylor.
Is
That's so
rude.
funny. I'm just
Mm-mm-mm.
kidding. I'm I'm just kidding.
Oh my
I'm just
goodness.
joking. But, shit, I really know, like, my mom and my godmom went to Essence Fest, so they just pretty much stayed in that one lounge because that's where all of their artists were that they wanted to hear and listen
Mhm.
to were. So I was like, I know for me, we probably might all split up and just meet back together for, like, dinner or some shit if we want different people.
Most
But,
likely.
like, I
Which
know
would
I'll
probably
probably
be
just
very
stay in
rare.
one lounge or a different or, like, if I do move, because the times all like, overlap. So,
And
like,
that's
you
how a
really have to
music
pick and
fest is.
choose right. I was gonna say, so you really have to I did see that. You really have to pick
It
and
was
choose who you
stressful.
wanna be with. So it's like, I'm pretty good, and my friends, I think, but I know
I
my
am
fiance
now.
for sure can attest that I'm pretty good at weighing pros and cons and doing cost benefit analysis.
That is very true.
I'm gonna be able to be like, we probably gonna get a chance to see this motherfucker again, so I'm gonna go see this motherfucker instead, and then like go from there.
And that's literally how I kind of do one music fest, to be very honest. Like,
Because it makes sense that you wasn't gonna miss Janet. Because when the fuck we gonna see her ass again?
I had
Don't
already
take it
missed
for
her
Rihanna just
tour
had
this
to show her ass
year.
up.
And trust me, it hurt all of my ratchet being to miss Megan. But I had to secure that spot as close as
You
I
did.
was
You
to
did.
Janet. And Janet was outstanding. But like I think with one music fest, that's another reason why I say cost benefit kind of analysis thing is go to one music fest first. The only thing is it be outside. And so that's one
Well, they
difference from
all
Essence
outside,
Music
ain't
Fest.
they?
I don't think Essence Fest is outside.
I coulda well, no, some activities are outside,
Yeah, but I don't think like
some
the
are
perform.
inside.
Yeah, I think most performances and stuff are like inside.
I coulda sworn they had just,
But
like,
I could
little
be wrong.
tents and not actual inside.
I could be wrong. But I
I
know
have to
One
ask
Music
my folks,
Fest.
but it's been years
Yeah,
too, so things could have changed also.
they've been changing years
So,
as
I
it
mean, if
is
they're
too.
mostly inside, then shit, I'm going to Essence Festival, the fuck?
But see, also another right, and see another thing is
I'm a fat bitch.
I'm also
I can hide easily. Damn.
same. Also with my thing is like with the boundary of I can't isolate myself forever like that. I guess technically a boundary was I can't allow myself to not go out because I don't have somebody to go with. That's still a rule. Whatever.
It
There's a
is a
boundary in
rule.
there somewhere.
It is a rule.
But
Look, you know,
I mean, no, technically the boundary is like something that you will not tolerate. You will not allow. So I don't tolerate. I don't allow myself to not go somewhere because nobody's with me.
I mean, it's mixed in. It's literally like your rule is that you have to go out to these places regardless of if somebody's with you or not. The
Yeah.
boundary is like you're not tolerating it, and if that does happen, then what is the like? How are you responding to that?
Mm. I mean, literally, I used to be the person that would not go anywhere. Like I would not if I didn't have somebody. I was like, I'm not going. Like, so I think, but then that would end up being like having huge FOMO and all
Mhm.
that, blah blah blah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start going, and then my friend had to move, so then I was stuck on myself. And then so I was like, oh shit. I might have to start going places. Like, and I've never had problems going places myself, but like big festivals and stuff like that. Like I said, I go to one music fest. This is my third year going. I go myself every year. This is the first year I've actually met up with people because people were here. That's very first time. And then like I go to conventions because they're fun. I'm an extreme nerd. I go to the anime and the cosplay and conventions and all that kind of stuff. I will be going next year. I'm planning on budgeting starting this month so that I can at least make it to two with cosplays every day. I'm trying to do certain stuff like that because I have stopped myself. If I allow it, then I start. Also, I think another thing is it's not really a boundary, but it kind of coincides with it is because I have a lot of negative self talk. It's another thing I'm working on through therapy, and that's the kind of result of me not holding up to that boundary is a lot of negative self talk. So while I'm trying to cut that out for my mental health, it helps with the boundary that I have to go outside.
I'm proud of
So
you.
thank you.
I too suffer from negative self-talk. So I get it. I
Exactly.
understand. Mm, mhm. I think I
Mhm.
started this with asking like, what your boundary was with other people, like family and friends.
I didn't have
Um,
one. That's the problem. That's the
I
problem.
think I'm
Oh.
starting to build a boundary with, like, my availability being respected.
Mhm.
I have a calendar, and because now I am very busy, um, my biggest thing is you have to let me know days in advance.
Mhm.
Preferably a month in advance for certain stuff. But at the very least, you should be letting me know at the top of the week so that I can at least find a way to squeeze something in. I do not like day of things. If it's not an emergency, day of things really they unnerve me because it throws off my routine or it throws off whatever plan I had because day of you call yourself having an emergency that's really not a fucking emergency. And then now I got to go out of my way, but that's because I made the choice to go out of my way to do that. So my thing is in order for me to stop myself from doing that, I uphold the boundary of you got to get on my calendar. And it's met with mixed reviews. It's the best I can put it. It's met with mixed reviews. Some people get really, like, upset about it. because why do I have to have it, like, why do I have to get on your calendar to, like, see you or whatever the case may be? But it's like, because I have a life now. I didn't have a life before, where I could just come and go as I please, but
Let
now
me
I
tell
actually
you.
am doing things, and it's not just my job, but, like, I'm in school again. I have I can't call them extracurriculars because now we're grown. What's the grown-up version of extracurricular activities?
Extracurriculars.
I mean, I have my
'Cause it's not
sorority stuff.
hobbies,
True.
so
I was like, but I have my sorority stuff and, I'm on 4 committees alone, so there's that, and
no.
then I have my volunteer work that I do every weekend, every Saturday, unless I have a gig or I already have a planned vacation. I don't miss that either. Excuse me, and then the type of work that I do, I actually have to travel a lot, so it's very much like you gotta let me know beforehand so that way I can schedule properly to make sure that I dedicate this amount of time to you while also being able to keep up with the activities and the responsibilities that I've got in place. And right now I'm having a hard time because I'm behind on shit. So it's like I'm trying to play catch up. So I really like this week, for real, this week and probably next week. I really am not taking what do they call those? I'm not taking any walk-ins. Like quite
Uh-uh.
literally, you have to be on the schedule because it's so much for me right now to, like,
Mhm.
try to recalibrate. Um, like I said, it's met with mixed reviews. Some people don't like it, some people are iffy about it, some people respect it. Um, the hardest part with that is really, especially when it's, like, family, is really getting them to respect you as an adult. Like, I have my own things
That's the biggest
going.
boundary. It's
You
like,
have
you
to, like,
cannot talk to me like
I'm a
I'm not a
child,
human being. Not
I'm
even
a
like I'm a
human.
child, because you shouldn't be talking to children rude.
But that's what
Just
I'm saying, you
talk
shouldn't
to
be
me
talking
like
to
I'm not
me.
a human being. Like,
My thing is more so when I say like a child, not that you're being disrespectful, but like don't talk to me like I don't know what's going on.
well,
I'm
that too.
definitely an adult now. So like you don't have to sit up here and talk to me like I'm 8. Like you do not have to leave me out of the conversation of serious matters.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm an adult now.
Especially if
That's
it's gonna affect me in any kind of way.
exactly. Like there's no way you're going to be able to shield me at this point because I'm fucking 26. Like that's not going to work at all. At all.
No, for real though, that is
That's
pretty
why
accurate.
I can't stand it. But that's my biggest thing really is, like, I've had to set boundaries in order for them to see me as an actual adult that makes adult decisions, that does her own things, that has her own life, her own social life, who also tries to make sure that they are still in line with, like, our family traditions. I try my hardest to make sure I don't miss Sunday dinner and I don't miss Wednesday dinner. However, I know that when we move, one of those is gonna be on the back burner because I'm not
Mhm,
coming back and forth every week. I'm not doing that. That's another boundary that's gonna be set in place, like, I'm here now. This
mm.
is where I'm establishing my life. I could come twice a month, once a month, but I can't do no more than that just because wear and tear on a vehicle, but also, like, like, I'm building my own
Adult
I'm
life.
building my own adult life, right? So, that's just how that worked. Um As far as, like, boundaries with friends, I think right now my biggest thing is that I'm not giving any advice on something that's already been talked about. Um, just because it's a circular conversation. Because if we're gonna continue to go back to the same thing over and over, and you're gonna continue to, at this point, allow yourself to be in that same space, I don't have the mental capacity or the energy rather to put towards it. Um, because I do have my own mental health issues and my own stressors. So I'm not in the business of making your problem my problem anymore. That's really what it boils down to. Like if it's your problem, I'm here to be a support system and I will listen to you. But I'm not going to make it my problem by giving you some sort of advice that I feel like this is how you could fix this. This is how you should do this. Um, it's very much so. Actually, I will even tell you like how you could fix this or like maybe you should go to therapy. But after that, like I'm not fighting you on it. Um,
Oh, well, yeah.
you do you know what I'm saying? Like, you do what you wanna do. So that's like if you have an issue that you continuously have an issue with, but you continue to deal with it, right? And it's like, "They did this, and that, and the third," and it's like, "Okay, but last time we talked, you said you were gonna cut off this person, or you were gonna stop doing this," or whatever the case may be, and you decided to continue to do this. So, at this point, sis, I really feel like you should look into therapy, or I think you should look into journaling, or doing some sort of work or whatever that's going to be helpful and healthy for you, right? Let's look into that. That's it. I'm not going to stress with you. Because at that point you are continuing to stay in something that you already know is not good for you. I'm not stressing with you. I'm just not gonna do it. When you're ready to move on or to leave or to do whatever, I'll be here. If you need to just vent about something, I'll be here. But I'm not making your problem my problem because I have my own problems. And in return, I'm not making my problems your problems because you have your own problems. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's reciprocal. So, like, when I create the boundary for myself, I make sure that I treat my other friends the same way. Like, my boundary of text me first before you call me. That's like when I told you yesterday, I
Oh,
apologize to you
yeah.
that I called you without texting you first and asking if you were busy or if you were okay, because I would like that extended to me. So, like, I still do golden rule shit, but it's like my boundaries, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I
So, like,
think
yeah, I guess that's the best way to put that.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I think a boundary that I am starting to learn, I was supposed to start enforcing this like months ago. Did I do it? No. But I
Right.
am starting to, and I want to start for real enforcing it starting literally this month, November 1st, because new month, new year, period. I'm trying to enforce how I deal with money, or like how I'm giving out money,
Mhm.
just because one, I need it. Two, I'm trying to also prepare for, because I'm just claiming that I'm going to have a successful acting career. For me, a successful acting career just means that I am constantly booked and busy. I do not have to have an Oscar. I would like that. I don't have to have an Emmy. I would like that. But uh, I do an NAACP award. But
Oh.
I don't have to have that. But I am trying to plan my life, and I know it's been a lot of discourse over the past like 2 months about celebrities talking about how they have like allowances per se of like to give money out to their family because their family is asking for money. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's kind of jacked up," or how you can tell your family no. You don't understand how sometimes that is stressful being the quote unquote successful person in your family,
Mhm.
and then being that, having that responsibility end up kind of just landing on you. So I'm trying to avoid feeling like that, period. So I'm
Oh.
trying to
Crazy.
enforce this boundary now, so that coming forward I do not feel like that at all. And I don't feel like the pressure. Like, I know, especially like in the situation I'm in now, like once I have everything set up and together, I'm probably going to have some. I'm going to do like celebrities do or whatever like that, just to have that working on there. So I'm like, this is where it is. This is how much is in this thing. Y'all go over, y'all not going over. When it's gone, it's gone. And that's
Yeah.
just for anybody, because I know that I am a very giving person, and I will do that a lot on my detriment, or not even thinking, or it probably won't be a detriment then, but then you look back and like, I actually needed that
Yeah.
for
I'm
this
bad about that
situation.
too.
So I'm trying to starting today, I'm going to be enforcing that, like, hey, like kind of that boundary of, once this is gone or whatever set amount I have, whether it's because I don't have to tell people like, oh, well, I have this to the side. Like, I just have that boundary for myself of like, this is how much I'm giving out like this month or this week, whatever. And if that goes over, it
Once you
goes
go
over.
over
Yeah.
no,
And then
yeah, like,
that's
and it's
it.
not gonna go over.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Like,
it's
once
not
you
going
hit
to
that
go over.
line,
Once
it's
I
not
hit that, like, I can't give out any sorry, no. And I think also another boundary for me, And I think just from my sense is, like I said, I was a people pleaser and I'm trying to get away from, because nothing's wrong with people pleasing until it becomes a detriment to you. And I
Mhm.
think it's starting to become like I have not taken myself into account for so long that I think has been detrimental and I just haven't realized it just because I don't keep
Mhm.
myself into account. So another boundary for me is like when I feel like the answer is no, the answer is no.
Period.
So
I'm
yeah.
proud of that. I really am because we've been friends long enough, so like obviously we both had that same problem. Knowing how both of us grew up and like always wanting to like make everybody happy or like everybody
Yeah.
be proud of you and then you have a lot of weight on your shoulders because of that. And you especially because you are the first but well, I
I was
am.
about to say, and
But
I have like firstborn oldest daughter
I
syndrome
was gonna say because 'cause I'm the
where
first one
like
too.
true. Like
Yeah,
firstborn older daughter syndrome, whether it was put onto you, you put it onto yourself. That is
it's
it's a
big, and I
beast.
will say in your case, like,
And I put
I
that on
feel like it's
myself.
big for you too though, because 'cause you're the first college grad. Actually,
Oh yeah.
currently the only college grad, right, in your in immediate family?
Currently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
currently,
Because I'm the
because
oldest,
everybody else is
yeah.
in the process. So, like, that's major, like, that's major, period.
Period.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful accomplishment, like, super proud of that. Don't ever knock that at the fuck off. It's a
I
really
do,
beautiful
but people
accomplishment.
that know me know why I not.
Yes. Yeah, but you really shouldn't, because that is a huge accomplishment. Um And I feel like when you do something like that, like, they put all of, like, their dreams and their aspirations, and it's like the weight of the world does kind of fall on your shoulders. Even if they tell you that their dreams and aspirations are not in you, you can feel that energy that, like, they kinda are, like, relying on you to save the motherfucking
And
family and
it
save
don't
the
even
world.
be like
Um,
malicious. It's just like
nah, it's just very much
this
like, "You're the
person's here.
chosen one."
Like this person is here. So if they can, they can't. Thankfully, I've
Mhm,
never, like I said, I have never put that pressure on I have never had that pressure like maliciously put on me.
correct.
Like I never had to raise my siblings. Thank God. Like my parents were there. My parents.
Same, 'cause
So
I
like,
didn't raise my little brother,
yeah,
but
like,
oh,
well, we
they
raised
active
them
as
for
hell. My
like,
mama active as hell.
oh no, mom was active. But
Period.
like we
Yeah.
thankfully I never had to be my siblings' parents or something like that. Or like my parents' parents. Well, as I'm getting older, I'm having to
No,
be
when we get
everybody's
older,
parent.
they definitely
But
become your child too.
and I always end up I feel like I am like that third parent. But I think that's because just because I'm older. So I just put that pressure on myself, but thankfully
Mhm.
my family doesn't put that pressure on me, especially not maliciously. Like even if they do it on accident, like they're not doing it on purpose or whatever or hard like to put just burdens on me. I do it myself. So that's another reason why I have those boundaries in place and I'm starting to put those boundaries in place and I'm just trying to brace for it if there is any pushback because and to fight against that guilt that I have
The
just
biggest thing is
because
gonna be the
it's the
guilt.
biggest thing is the guilt.
Mm.
Uh but trying to work on enforcing that more like I tried to do it a little bit here and there. But I'm trying to have like a structured enforcing of that. Just because with my time too, because my time is starting to get smaller and smaller, just because like I do so much and now that I have a partner on top of that, I still have to factor that in as well. So
'Cause you
yeah.
are essentially starting to build your own life with your partner while
Yeah.
also building up your individual life and your individual endeavors. It's definitely,
It's a journey.
it's a struggle. I think it's interesting. I will say I am thankful that, like, I do have somebody else on the same journey as myself, so big ups to you, Cece, because we have similar
Problems.
problems. Yeah, I was gonna say we can kinda lean on each other from time to time whenever we do actually talk to each other about it. Because most of the time we just be out here running on vibes,
Sure
um,
do.
and
Sure
don't
do.
really mention it to each other. We might be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then we'll talk about
It'd
something
be
dealing with
like
the
life.
podcast, but it'll be funny. It always starts off with something in the podcast, and then it just turns
Always.
into life.
It's
Um,
always structured
it's
at
funny as fuck,
first
honestly.
because
We're
we
like,
usually
all
don't have
businessy
time
and
for
shit.
anything but that.
Mhm.
And then we just kind of like go off the rails and be like, all right.
Yeah, 'cause
Like,
no, we Yeah. I'm not gonna say the rest of that, but yeah, we
Nope.
we tend to do that a lot. What I was gonna say though was I do appreciate the podcast only for the fact that it is the weekly time that we get to decompress technically with each other
True.
about whatever the fuck we had going on while we go through it.
That is
Um,
true.
but yeah, I think that's a big one. I
Yeah,
might have to save the other one for another episode because that's a big one.
that is one. I guess
Boundaries was
let's
a really big
switch.
one.
Boundaries is Jesus.
Huge.
Definitely wish I
I'm
had
with you
more
on the
experience
finances
with
thing
that.
though.
Yeah, now with finances, so we are black if you can't tell, or if you
Please.
didn't know, if you're listening. So as typical middle class families, no one taught us anything.
They just assume I almost feel like they just assumed that we would just always call on them for stuff, but
I
it'd be
think it's
like,
also when
I
they're struggling, you don't have time to teach someone else because
yeah,
if you're struggling, what you want to teach them, kind of thing. Or if you're not at where you want to be, how you going to teach somebody else? And
I
I think
agree.
that's a lot of thing with a lot of middle class families as well.
Especially if they're still learning, what can
Right.
but I'll say this too, even though you're still learning, what you have learned from your mistakes could be
Hmm.
brought over. So
Exactly.
very much like saving, for instance. So you never saved, right? So then at the very least, maybe you should put back X amount of money or a certain percentage of your money every month. I didn't do that. I fucked myself up. So I think this is what you need to do. That's going to be helpful. I read that somewhere.
Right.
Um, Same with budgeting. I think I learned how to budget by just making sure my bills were paid first. So I didn't learn about saving, not
And
like
most people can't.
not really learn. No, for real. In this economy, you really just have to be able to have the money for your bills and your
And
groceries.
you barely got that
And
if
gas.
you have it.
By the time you show all that out, it's a blessing if you get to save something. Most of the time, people get to save when they wind up coming into a surplus of something, and every other need has already been met. And
Hmm.
the likelihood of you coming into a surplus is really on tax season. So,
And that still be iffy.
it right, because it really just depends. The only reason why I get money back is because I'm in school. That's it. You think I'm not going to be a forever fucking student so I can get some money at least once a year?
I wish I
You're
liked
wrong.
school enough to do that, to be very honest. I
I don't
can't do it.
necessarily well, no, I do love school. Definitely forever a student of whatever it may be. I might switch the whole motherfucking course, get this master's, and go on to music production. You just don't fucking know. I just really enjoy learning.
I stopped liking school in high school. I was a very and this is to say, me, I don't like I said, I stopped liking school in high school. Don't mean I didn't get bad grades. Don't mean that I'm not
So
smart.
smart.
Don't mean that I don't do extra stuff. I literally changed my major junior year of college and ended up graduating. Granted, that was not on my account. That was because UA like to switch their shit every 5 seconds. However, comma, I somehow made it through. And it was on something that I actually did not want to do and still don't want to do. But it pays the bills.
But the
But
bitch
like,
is bad at what she do.
but
Good as fuck at what
it
she do.
was it was literally like I stopped liking school in high school. And I used to be a very big school person, I guess you could say, kind of whatever. Like I like all the reading. You young children don't know if you're listening and you're young.
Please.
You don't know what AR tests are. You don't know what typing
They
tests are.
actually do still do AR testing.
Some places they don't. It's weird, but
Where? Because I will say in Alabama for sure they're still doing AR testing. At least in this
interesting.
bitch.
But but like I
Sorry.
was one of those people like I was fighting with like top readers trying to be like the top reader. I was doing spelling bees and junk. Like
Oh my
I went
god.
like middle school, I went to a math and science camp.
So
So
you were a fucking nerd
I
for
was really badly like and enjoyed myself. Like I elected. Like my parents weren't like, "Oh, do you want to do that?" I found out about it and told my parents about it, and they let me do it. It was literally a math and science camp. I went for the summer for like a month and a half. I stayed at Alabama School of Fine Arts dorm, and
My god. First of all,
I
it's Alabama School of Fine Arts.
well,
It's
but
fine. Good times.
I did that for like a month and a half during the summertime, and we did math and science, as in like homework assignment. Like we did that, and I elected to do that in the summertime and had a fun time. It was weird, but high school, I got to high school, and it wasn't one like, oh, when you become a teenager, like you change. No, it was just one of those like, I don't want to do this no more. Like I just was like, I don't want to do this no more. You can ask Taylor because me and Taylor technically became friends because we were assigned a project, and she almost killed me. I did not like school when
Why?
it
Tell them why. If you're gonna
once
start
we got to
doing
high
stories,
school.
tell them why I was almost gonna kill your black ass. Tell them.
Taylor had a somewhat point of why she was upset.
Wait a minute, because I really wish, I so wish that the one audience member who is not on video could hear what the fuck you just said, because it's really just pissed me off so bad. This bitch said I had somewhat of a point for the
You
reason
did.
why I
You
was upset with
did.
your ass in high school.
You did. Me and Taylor literally became friends because we was on a science project.
Biology project. Yes.
Yeah.
What did we have to do, CC?
Honestly, I don't remember the project.
It was a PowerPoint project.
It sure was a PowerPoint.
Everybody in the class had a classification of animals. So some people had
That's what it
mammals,
was.
some people had amphibians, some people had reptiles, some people had fish.
Taylor's memory is great because I don't
We
even remember the
had
project.
fish. I always remember trauma, bitch. So we had no, I'm just playing.
Oh my gosh.
No. Woo. Not my camera freaking out now. Okay, but no, in all
That's what you get.
no, but I always remember important people, honestly. Um, I always remember when I first met a person or when I first felt the feeling of this could be a really important person in my life, because I remember how I felt when I first met Lockett. I remember how I felt when I first met you.
I wish I remember the first time I
A
met
couple of
Lockett
people.
because apparently it was earlier than I thought it
I
was.
mean, y'all were little, so I mean, the memories be hard to unlock. But like, I remember when it would be like, yeah, we're gonna be good friends, and like, yeah, we're all still good friends. So like, the feeling was there. The feeling was right. But yeah, so that was our project. And I
Taylor
also
didn't
remember
like
because
any
I did
time we were
all
in
the
class
fucking
together.
work. I always remember something where
Lies.
I do all the fucking work.
I did work.
You did a PowerPoint
I did
slide
2 slides and you didn't like one of them, so you
because one
got
of them was
rid of it.
wrong. You no. Here's what she did. She gave me 2 slides, right? But why was it that the second slide was pretty much a remix of the first one? Bitch, I don't need a remix. It's the same shit.
It was reworded. Nobody was gonna check it. Our
She
biology teacher was not tripping like
The
that.
reason we all got a fucking 100 was my ass, okay? Let's go ahead and let the
I
record speak now.
contributed
Let the
and
record
I was contributing and I stood up there, something I hate to do, and read my slides
slide 1. Meanwhile,
because she
I
got
had
rid
to
of the
have
second one.
she gave 1 slide and a remix version of the other slide. We
Okay, that
can't
sounds
do
like
we couldn't do that. That didn't even follow
sounds
the
like
rules.
2 slides.
We couldn't even follow the rules because you can't we God. Don't piss me off, CC. We're coming up on 10 years next year. Don't piss me off.
That's not even 10. It's like 11, 12.
I'm talking about since we graduated.
Oh,
Don't
that
piss
was
me off.
freshman year though. But like I said,
It's past
I
that
was
now.
not, and I say I wasn't into school, and I did like AP classes. I did early college. But I don't like school. So I
I
was just
really
like
wish
there.
I
Freshman
really
year was
wish
really bad.
school actually taught us more about, like, saving
It
and
taught us
budgeting and
nothing.
bills and taxes and
What is
credit.
trigonometry doing for me now?
Unless
Nothing.
you're an engineer, not shit.
Not a damn thing.
Not shit.
My school didn't even help me get into college. My mama did. But we're not gonna go into that.
We're not gonna talk about our counselors and how we pretty much did the work
But
ourselves.
NT
And the kids
who?
continue to do the work themselves. Because why are you a school counselor? if you're not counseling.
The only counselor I frequent is Miss Markham, and that's because she wasn't our counselor. She was our chemistry teacher, and I was
Yeah.
never in chemistry. So,
You weren't. You were always over in biology with Miss what you call it, Thrash.
mhm.
Good
Miss Markham
times.
know me from people, and we're gonna leave it there.
Please.
She know me from people and not as a student. So, but
Mhm.
anywho, wish that schools and our parents taught us more about saving, budgeting. In certain schools now, they do teach it. Like my little brother has like a life skills class. Never got that ever. The closest we got was home ec, and that was literally just everybody took their class to cook so that we could
'Cause we
eat during
really didn't
class.
learn any other home economics, which I felt like would have been
We learned
interesting.
how to cook breakfast and haystacks.
Because I feel like home economics
That's
also
it.
includes breakfast, haystacks, and I think I made some nachos or
I don't
some
think we made
biscuits and other
nachos.
stuff.
We might have made
Like,
biscuits,
but we definitely should have been
croissants,
talking about, like, taxes and budgeting and balancing a
and
checkbook, but
credit cards
all
and
we
all
did was
that.
cook.
Not we didn't learn
Because some of
anything
these
else.
things our parents couldn't teach us because they didn't have a positive experience with it. But that's why I said at the very least, I think teaching your mistakes is just as important as teaching your successes,
It is.
because you learn a lot from mistakes.
Yeah.
Um, there's plenty of other things that our parents never taught us that we had to learn into adulthood that we
Like,
could
I
go
don't know how to
into for
change a tire.
another episode. Oh no, honey, I don't do that anyway.
I don't even if I
I know
knew
how to, but I'm not doing it.
I don't know how to. I
I know how to change my tire. I know how to check my oil.
don't know
I'm
how to do
not
none of
doing
that.
that.
I don't know how to do none of that.
No, no.
That's what triple A is for.
That's what princess treatment is for. And we're gonna leave it at that.
Anyways, if you guys like learning certain stuff or talking about things that we didn't learn that we wish that we knew, we can delve more into it. Even if we delve into like a whole finance episode, because I know a lot of us need that. A lot of us are still learning. Like I'm learning right now what the difference is of a 401k and an IRA.
Don't
I've
forget to add
been
in a Roth IRA, and then you're like, "What
right.
the fuck is
I've
this?"
been in corporate America for 5 years now. Do you think
They
I asked
don't
them
teach
what
you
they were
this stuff.
doing? I said they said you get a 401k. I said cool. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like money to me. So great.
And then they don't teach you that if you pull from your 401k, you actually get penalized on your taxes, so you do have
Yep.
to pay shit back. Like,
Until you're 59 and a half.
you cannot pull before you're 59 and
It's
point
a
5,
lot.
60.
It's
So
it's
just
a
just
lot.
say 60.
I was going to, but if you guys want us, especially I know finance is a really big thing as an adult that everybody's like, what the fuck is happening? Or like renting, like all that comes with bills, like how renting works, like renewing leases, like all that kind of stuff. If you guys want us to talk about that, we can definitely make a new. Actually, we'll probably have
We
another episode
will.
of that
It might be one
because
of those things that we do, like, as a lifestyle series sort of things, like,
yeah.
how did they teach us that, or how did they forget to teach us that again? Um,
And don't
part
worry,
2,
we're gonna bring professionals in. We're gonna try to bring professionals in because we don't know what we're doing either. We're still figuring it out. So
I think that's the beauty of it is that we're all figuring this shit out together, and it seems like it's really a generational thing
it
that we're
is.
all figuring this shit out together, so we have a safe space to talk about all of these things we're figuring the fuck out
Yeah,
together.
we're really
It's great,
struggling.
it's great, it's
It's
great.
fine.
I
It's
mean,
okay.
but anything from finances to, like Cece said, like rent, relationships, um,
Just anything.
education in terms of
Yeah,
like the different kinds of education, because they heavily push going to school, like
you
college,
don't
and
have to.
everybody is not built for college. Everybody is not built to be a business owner either, but that is another story and an episode for
As
another
Keith Lee is showing y'all.
that is another episode
We're not gonna go into
day,
that.
for another day, because
It's too
yeah.
much. But yes, let us know what other topics you want us to talk to, and we're gonna go into what we talked about last week, where we are finishing the ministry.
No, we're not. But we are gonna give you a little bit more information. I'm the script writer, so I decided, we're gonna draw this bitch out.
Okay, we definitely talked about drawing this out.
I
So
did because I felt like it would be really cool, really fun. It gives a little bit of, I think it's just like a running thing for us to do.
It's
that
always
you guys
something.
kind of look out for when you come to listen to the episode. So it's like, "Oh, so on to the murder mystery."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm. Welcome back to the second part of Secrets in the Old Mansion. In this episode, we'll journey deeper into the lives and secrets of our characters while Detective Elise Walker races against time to reveal the hidden truth.
When we last left off, the stormy night had taken a sinister turn as the lifeless body of Julian was discovered in the old, dusty room of the Langley mansion. Detective Elise Walker had arrived at the scene, and the friends found themselves trapped in the mansion with a killer among them.
As the investigation unfolds, let's delve into the backstories of our characters. We'll start with Maya, the archaeologist who secretly embezzled funds to maintain a lavish lifestyle. She
Mm-mm.
grew up in a family that struggled with financial instability, and her actions were driven by a desperate desire for financial security.
Marcus, the talented painter, was haunted by a troubled childhood and driven by a need to create something extraordinary to escape his past.
Grace, the successful author whose fame was built upon revealing the secrets of others while concealing her own personal struggles that fueled her writing.
And then our poor deceased Julian, the professor, an expert in the paranormal, who was haunted by a traumatic event from his past that drove his obsession with the unexplained.
Mm. Detective Elise Walker, a seasoned investigator, navigates through the group's past, uncovering connections, secrets, and grudges that might have played a role in Julian's murder.
As the storm outside intensifies, the friends begin to suspect one another and tensions rise. While Detective Walker carefully pieces together the evidence and alibis, the group's true nature and motivations start to emerge.
And like we said, we're just going to keep spoon feeding you shit. So join us in this gripping continuation of Secrets in the Old Mansion as we continue to peel back the layers of deception and reveal the darkness hidden within our characters' hearts.
Stay tuned for the resolution to this chilling murder mystery where secrets are unveiled and the truth emerges from the shadows. Dun dun dun!
Not that we had the same idea. I feel like giving y'all a cute little minute of stuff in each episode is actually something to look forward to. So
Hmm.
this might actually not end until the last episode of the damn season. We're gonna draw this bitch out. Like, plus it's actually really fun to put together.
It is. It's really
I
fun.
enjoy
We're into this stuff. We're into
it.
murder mysteries. If you guys haven't realized, I know we've talked about this seasons and seasons before, but we are very big viewers of Bailey Sarian, who always talks about murder mysteries and stuff like that. We're very into true crime.
I love
So
Brittany
that's
Vaughn.
our
Have to
thing.
shout out the Black woman because she also
Yes.
does makeup and mer true crime. She
Yeah,
does
true
true
crime
crime and
stuff.
makeup,
And I
and
also
then
listen to
Bailey does
podcasts.
murder mystery and makeup.
And then I listen to podcasts that are like Sisters Who Kill, excuse me. And other podcasts and things of that nature like that. They're
There's
very
a
interesting.
Black true crime podcast. That's a good one too,
Mhm.
with just Black people. I'm a big, big fan of the Parcast Network's podcasts. So I love cults. I love, um, what is it called? Crimes of Passion. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
love serial killers. Can you blame me?
Yeah.
Um,
We're really into
definitely,
that.
it's my thing. It's our thing, which is it's
Weird.
cool.
But
It's weird, but it's cool to have somebody who enjoys it just as much as I do. So, appreciate that, see. So, yeah, I think this is something that'll be really cool. I hope you guys like the sound effects on the
Right, of
Spotify
last episode.
episode and on the YouTube episode. Um,
We're giving you guys variety. So don't be confused if you ever listen. Like if you watch the video and then you listen on a podcast, like, that sounds different. We like to give variety, keep it provocative.
keep it spicy, as they say, for the
You
marriages
know.
and stuff.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah. Keep it saucy, you feel me? Keep it saucy. But
mhm.
also, too, there are some things that we can do on video that we can't do on, audio, so I
Audio.
really like to try to, like, navigate those waves and all of those things, that way it's not, 1, it's not boring, but also it's not uniform, so, like, you're gonna get the same messages, but
Yeah.
it just is gonna be coming off a little bit different depending on if you're listening or if you're watching. If you're watching, you get to see our beautiful faces and watch us do our stupid ass shit while we record. But if you're
Right.
listening, you just get to hear our voices and hear us, joke around a
Be a
lot because
little
we
crazy.
just a little, just a tad. But anywho, that leads us to Cece, do you have a black fact for this week?
I actually don't have a black fact for this week. I will come back next week with a black fact, and I will start with black businesses again next week. So don't you worry, your pretty tiger heads. Wow.
I knew you was gonna say it. I heard it when you went through it.
I usually
Cece,
don't
don't
say
make
that.
me laugh, it's so cute.
Anyways, I will
Um,
start having black businesses so that you guys
I'm not
can
taking it out, by
have
the way.
you guys can have certain businesses to start shopping at during holiday season, because holiday season has officially started, because y'all niggas start literally when 12 o'clock hits after
Mhm.
Halloween. So I will start having black businesses, like I said, next week, and we'll start having black facts as well.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah.
Well, if that's the case, per usual, next week, tune in to our regularly scheduled shenanigans. Let us know what you're interested in hearing this season on our social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can also hit us up on Twitch, I believe. Um,
I think so.
and you can find our information in the episode description. You're able to listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music / Audible, anywhere where you get podcasts. We are no longer hosted by Podbean. We are specifically Spotify for podcasters. So if you were a Podbean follower, go ahead and unsubscribe. You might not even be able to find us. I'm pretty sure we
You
deleted the
won't.
whole account as
Yeah, you won't.
overall. So don't look for us because we won't be there. Okay, we let that cook out and move to another one. Thanks.
We did.
So.
Something that you probably already have on your phone, to be very honest, so it makes it
Mhm.
kinda easier for you.
That way you don't
Um,
have to go back and forth through apps and all the things. You can just be in your one spot where you listen to all of your music and podcasts all in the same place. We try to make it easier, not only for us, but for y'all as well as listeners. So, and people love to also like watch videos too. So that's why we kind of moved over to YouTube and to Twitch. So that's exciting while we work out the
right.
kinks.
Right.
Um, but we appreciate y'all and we thank you so much for your support. As usual, there's always a whole bunch of shit going on with this podcast, and we're trying our best to make it, saucy.
Interesting. A little
Interesting.
je ne sais quoi.
Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative, that
Mhm,
sort of thing.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
So, anywho, without further ado, we shall bid you adieu.
mhm. Nice talking to you guys today. Oh, just let us know if you have any suggestions or anything you want us to talk about, have any podcast ideas, or have any content that you wanna see from us, let us know. And with that being said, bye, guys.
Bye.